guys, we are back. I'm going to talk about the playroom today that I talked about on our previous video. It's the same client. This video is probably going to go a little bit quicker because I don't have to explain kind of what we're doing here. You guys saw the last video, so now this is going to be all about redoing their playroom. Basically what we're doing is showing you guys how we came to the conclusions that we did with the spaces, whether it's organizing or styling or both. So I want to go ahead and jump into this to not waste any more time. So we're going to look at their before picture. As you can see, this is the top of their house. This is the second floor. You know, it has the angled ceiling. That's the roof line. And I honestly love these types of rooms. I always wanted one whenever I was growing up because I just thought they seemed like really cozy to have the walls slanted in on you. So I wanted to talk about their needs with this space. It wasn't just a playroom. So this client, her husband was a pastor of a young adults program at their church. And so they knew that they were going to have a lot of young adults kind of coming into the city and leaving, and they needed maybe temporary, like a temporary place to stay. And so what they wanted to do was to leave this somewhat as a playroom, but also function as a guest room. The client couldn't really figure out how they were going to do this on their own, and that's what they called us in, because they knew that they really wanted to have a playroom still, and they really wanted to have a spot that guests could come, but also kind of have some privacy away from their own family. And it kind of takes me back to the previous video of their craft room / like mudroom situation we set up for them. You know, it's like being able to see a space and kind of divide it out into what you need it to be. And I feel like that's like the beautiful part of the challenge is how do we make this space work but feel one? You know, if you want a guest room in here, but you also want it to be easily accessible for your kiddos to play and have fun, but you really want to be able to like put away things as quickly as possible. I'm going to show you one other picture of this space. It kind of gives you the whole idea of the layout. So as you walk upstairs, this is kind of what you see on the other side of the picture I just showed you. They have these really pretty glass double doors that go into this playroom. And so this is what you see. So there's like bookshelves on the left and then kind of like this open area to the right here in this picture. One of the main goals of this room, like I said, was to make it a guest room. So they wanted to make sure with whatever we did that we could actually put blinds on these windows to give the guest privacy. So just keep that in your mind as we're going. So I want to talk about the problems that I see as an organizer when I see this space. Kind of like the red flags, if you will, of organizing. So number one, you see that left cubby thing over there that has the toys that's like tilted bins? Do not ever buy those. I know it's so easy because they're everywhere. You can find them on Facebook Marketplace so cheap and you think, I'm getting my life in order. I'm getting organized, but these bins, this system is, I mean, I hate it. I hate those bins so much. In theory, I get it because they're tilted forward. You can see what you have, but what ends up happening with these is that you can see everything, first of all. So it's like visual clutter overload. And I'm not just talking about for mom and dad. Like that is visual overload for the kiddo as well. And typically when we are seeing these types of organizing situations, they are chocked full of like random bits of toys. There's no like rhyme or reason to them. And it's really hard to put a label on them because they're tilted forward. So you can't put a label on the front side. So it gets really messy really quick. And those are the first things we will get rid of. If this is in your playroom and you hire us, we will say, sell it on Facebook Marketplace, donate it, whatever you need to do, get rid of it. So that is the first red flag in this space. Second red flag is that you can see how many toys and items there are. I'm going to be honest. I don't know where you guys come from in your life, but this is not that many toys to us. We have worked in playrooms that, I'm not kidding, you can't see the floor. So as long as I can see a floor, I feel like you're doing pretty good. But as you can see, there's not enough storage solutions in this space to put items up. The goal with any space that you're organizing, especially a playroom, is to keep the floor as empty as possible when everything is organized. Because you want your kids, you want yourself to be able to have plenty of room to get on the ground and play, have fun. As you can see, like on the right side here, there's so many toys on the floor, so many things just kind of piled on the bookshelves. And all of this isn't a hate at the client. They are doing the best that they can. But what I see is like, okay, we need more storage solutions to come in here and to be able to hold more items. But that's not to forget, let us not forget, we always need to do our best to purge items. So I knew if we could go in here and eliminate maybe 20% of these toys, whether it's books, puzzles, the broken crap you get from toys over time, the toys they don't play with, and one of their goals before they found out they were pregnant was that they wanted to separate out the baby toys just in case they were going to have another baby. So I knew if we could at least go in here and get rid of like 20%, we were going to be set. We were going to have plenty of space to store everything away and have a home for what we needed to have a home for. There weren't any other red flags to me, but I will say the things that stood out to me as well were any large toys are always kind of an issue because the client typically wants there to be a home for it, but there can't be a home. So if you have one of these large, one of these kid trampolines, like I can't hide that away somewhere. It's going to just have to sit out, or it's going to have to unless you have a big closet somewhere, like it's going to have to sit out. One day your kids are going to get over it and you're going to be able to get rid of it. But for now, there's only so many things you can do with having large toys like that. And those nugget couches, I'm not a fan of them. That might be the psycho side of me, but I do not love nugget couches for kids because I feel like they end up not using them. And so it's a lot of money to buy them, and then they're always just kind of everywhere. But again, that's just me. That's my personal preference. But I knew, okay, it's going to be hard to find a home for a nugget couch. So that's always a thought in my mind. So what I always do for our clients that want styling and organizing is I start building like vision boards for them. That way they're able to kind of see the vibe I'm going for. And typically I build 3 and then I kind of like let them choose like their favorite pieces from each. And then I combine it into one, and then we kind of just go from there. We take off and we have fun and we get ready on the installation. So this is the mood board I put together for them for their playroom. I really liked going for the blues again for their space, and I really wanted to do the little touches of pink because they have 2 daughters. I thought that would be a nice nod towards them. So I really wanted to add in some different textures. They had a lot of white in this room. I thought adding in some nice like light oak, like kind of birch wood pieces wherever I can fit that in would be nice to like kind of warm up this space and not just stick with just white across the board. And so I thought giving them, they had a ton of books. So I was like, I really want to have, we needed as much space for book storage, but I thought having like this huge wall, and you'll see it, but this huge wall for book ledges in that nice light oak would be really pretty. And then they needed a new TV stand for the space. And I thought that would be a perfect balance, was to have a nice like little wooden TV stand to kind of add and bring in that texture as well as the book ledges. And don't forget just even the tiniest little details, like having like a curtain rod that's all wood. I feel like having that is just like so wonderful because it's like not that big of a statement, but it's a little bit of like, wow, look, that wood ties in to all these other little wood tones. And I just like, I love those little moments that come together. This is actually the couch that they chose. Loved this couch. I'm going to say something really big here. It is probably one of the most comfortable online couches from Amazon that I've ever bought. Actually, the only one I've ever bought that is comfortable and wonderful. And it actually has storage built into it. And I will show you that. But this couch was great. It honestly worked out so perfectly for this space. And as you can see, it has like these kind of like chase pieces at the end. Those are all ottomans. All of that can move out of the way, but all of these lift up. And I'm like, that is unbelievable. So this is the vibe we are going for. I just really liked how clean it felt. I liked how fun it felt, but it didn't feel too kiddie to me. It felt like it was a design that could work for the whole family. And because there's so much brightness coming in that room from the windows, I thought these tones are going to be perfect for this space. I want to talk about something really quick. You see this bottom right cabinet? So that is a Billy bookshelf with doors. So kind of going back from the beginning of this video, I knew, just having worked with IKEA so many times before, a lot of the times Billy bookcases just come plain, it's open, they don't have doors on them. But whenever you've shopped somewhere enough, you realize kind of like the little trick. So I knew we could get doors for the Billy. That way everything was closed up. Kind of like the mudroom in the last video, you don't want to always see everything. It's like, I know I've said this 8,000 times, but visual clutter is a lot. It can do so much for us. Even if there's just so much junk behind the cabinet doors, which we don't want that either. But even if there was junk behind there, at least you can close it and not be able to see it. And you just feel, I feel like it feels more calm, and it feels very intentional for the space. So I knew that we could get these doors and add it to their existing Billy cases. And then that way it's just like an instant solution. And that made us feel so satisfied with this space, because I knew that there were other things we could do to leave out some toys that felt fun and inviting for the kids. But at least this whole section of bookshelves was going to be closed off. So that was a really fun surprise. So I just wanted to start out with this, like to show you the vision board that I created. So let's go ahead and clear out the room. So the room is cleared out. So what I like to build on is trying to figure out, how do we make one whole room divided into two functioning pieces, but that feels very cohesively one. So what I really wanted to do was to be able to figure out, okay, where does the guest area need to be and where does the playroom area need to be? So I wanted to go ahead and put the couch over here against this wall. It fit like a glove. It was perfect. And they loved this couch so much. Like I said, we wanted to go with like a lighter wood, oakish TV stand, something to kind of modernize the space. We didn't want to go too crazy because, again, it is a traditional house, but I felt like adding in this little modern layer was really nice. We added in this TV stand and we put the TV on top of it. And this TV stand actually had drawers. So that way, if a guest were to stay for an extended period of time, they would actually be able to put their stuff away and not just live out of a suitcase. So I really thought this was like my main stuff. I know it sounds silly, it's only two things, but these are the main things. I was like, okay, for this guest space, we need to have these two things. That way the guest has a spot to sleep, a spot to like wind down. And if they wanted to watch TV or whatever, or have friends there, they could do that, hang on the couch, watch TV, and have a good time. From that point, I was like, okay, let's start kind of like styling this little area, because I wanted it to make it cozy and welcoming, not just for the guest, but also for the family. And then obviously, you know, we love a rug. So let me put this rug down. When we think about how to divide up a space into two sections, but feeling united at the same time, I really love how a rug can kind of separate a space. Like, hey, this section of this room is meant for this. It kind of keeps it all together, and it kind of creates a zone in that space to make you feel like, okay, this makes sense. This feels like this is intentional. This is separate from the play area, but it's still a part of the whole room where it feels like it's setting the tone for the aesthetic and just like kind of the intentionality in this space. I wanted to add in these curtains that were really fun. They were blue and white striped. I felt like they felt really fun in this space with the blue couch and then like the pinks kind of coming in later. I felt like it was perfect. You know, curtains aren't a necessity, but they're so nice when you put them up, and it just kind of feels like the room feels a little elevated. And that's what I love about curtains. So I loved how these pieces came together. Again, this is only, let's go back to the before. That's always fun to go back to the before. Like, I feel like when you add the right pieces, that was only 4 pieces. We got the couch, we got the curtain, we got the nice TV stand, we have the rug. 4 pieces that can transform a room instantly. Like, it makes such a big difference when you are choosing the right pieces and not just kind of like guessing, okay, this is gonna work, it's fine, I'll make it work. You know, like, there is something behind intentionality. And I know, like, some people just like don't care. Some people are here for just the functionality of a space. And I totally understand that there is a way to make it feel curated in like a way that works for your life. And there's no upkeep in what I've done so far. You have a couch, you have a rug, you have a TV stand, you have curtains. It's not like you have to do so much to keep these things where they are. These are like the staples of this room. But I do want to say this rug is washable. It is nice in a playroom, no matter what you're doing, is to have a washable rug if it comes to like a kiddo space. That way, if like they spill something on it, that you're able to just pull it up, put it in the wash, and put it back down. So I want to keep building on this space. We definitely needed to add in a little side table next to the couch just to give them a spot to put drinks. That was the only thing that was kind of a bummer about this space being so tight, was if they want to like eat and drink in here, they don't really have a spot to put like food and beverages. What I did give them was just a little side table, also like a lighter oak piece. That way they could just set drinks down there. We put some books on there later. Also, you know, later in the pictures, you'll see we used kind of an ottoman in the middle to put a tray on. That way they could also set things there if they needed to. But now it's really about kind of styling this space, and then we'll move on to the playroom side of it. So they had a couple of guitars. I love using guitars as like wall art because typically people either have them in the case or they just have them laying around their house. It's such a nice way to kind of decorate a space because you're using something you already have, using something you love. And since we live in Nashville, it was such a nice nod to living here. So I wanted to hang his 2 guitars on the wall. And then really it comes down to just kind of styling these other little areas. So we have this huge wall above the couch. Like, it was so big. This couch is like 107 inches wide. So we wanted something to go there, but we didn't want to break the bank. So we were like, okay, what can we do? And this client, they are religious and they really wanted a Bible verse to go above the couch. So my sister actually is an amazing calligrapher. And so she actually did a huge piece of art for them that she hand wrote using one of their favorite Bible verses. After she did her calligraphy on this board, we used those magnetic wooden strips that kind of go on the top part of a piece and the bottom part, and it has a string, like a triangle type of shaped string that you hang up on the wall. So this was perfect because it was a very inexpensive way to have a huge piece of art, but it was meaningful to them, which was perfect because I could have gone to like Target or Walmart or anywhere online and found somewhat of an inexpensive piece of art. But this was great because we used mat board, a Sharpie, and then those magnetic frames to make this really pop on this space. And so it was perfect for them. And that was like one of their favorite pieces of this room, was that, because it was so them and it meant so much to them. So I thought that was a really cool part of this space. And then what we did was add a couple of pieces of art on that right side of the window just to kind of balance out the left side of it. So this feels so good to me, this side of the room. It felt like this is perfect for a guest. They have room to sleep, they have room to put things away, they have room to hang, and it feels cute, it feels inviting. So I was like, boom, we did it. So now let's move on to the other side of the room. I'm going to keep at this angle because it's the easiest to show. Okay, remember we talked about we needed another storage system to hold all the toys, but we did not like what they originally had. Our favorite go-to that is affordable, it works, and it's easy to kind of like pick and choose how you want to organize it. And so that is the 8-cube cubby storage system. You can get this at Walmart, you can get it at IKEA, you can get it at Target, but it's an 8 cubby storage piece. So it's nice because you're able to kind of You can either put it tall or you can put it long ways. We like using it long ways. That way kids can get to everything that they want to get to. So that piece took up this whole wall. So we had 8 cubbies to work with, as well as the Billy bookcases to fill those up with toys and books or whatever it might be to make this space work and stay organized for them. So we put this 8 cube shelf here, but again, I wanted to style it up in here a little bit because I really wanted it to tie into the other space and feel good and to feel like it was all cohesive. What we did was add in a couple lamps and some art to this space just to make it feel a little bit more cozy. It is a toy storage system, but we fancied it up to make it feel very intentional and make it feel cozy and cute and warm and just perfect for these kiddos to play or guests to come in and hang out. Okay, so we had the Billy bookcases, and what we did was buy those doors that we could at IKEA, and we installed them on each one of those. Remember when I mentioned in the beginning I wanted these like long light oak book ledges? We ended up having to buy, I think, 3 for each set. So I think we bought 6 and kind of mounted them in a line, but I really wanted that over the Billy bookcases to be able to put all of these kiddo books on the wall. And let me say something about books. We love books. We love kid books. Honestly, kid books are my favorite. They're so beautiful. They're so fun. They're so playful. But as much as we want our kids reading, we want that, right? We want them to read. We want that to be obtainable. Hear me out. You do not need every single book at your kids' level to reach. We have seen it far too often how everyone wants books obtainable by their kids because you want them going to that instead of their devices, right? So it's like, okay, let's have all the books down. Well, what happens? The kids, especially if they're really young, they're ripping all the books down constantly and you're trying to constantly put them back up. That is not what we want. We do not want everything accessible to the kids all the time. And it's cool if you don't agree, but it's like, we're just trying to make it easier for people to not go insane. Put as many up as possible, but keep their favorites down. And then mom and dad can swap those out. It's not up to the kid to swap them out. It's up to mom and dad to kind of like rotate the books. You know, it doesn't have to always be the same, but you don't have to have everything down all the time. So anyway, I want to show you these little oak shelves that I wanted to put up. So it was basically, you'll see it in the after picture. But again, this kind of shows you the space behind this, which I will show you this as well. It's hard to show you with this perspective, but they also needed a little area for dress up. And we loved that. I thought it was so freaking cute. This kind of shows you the vibe of the space. It shows you the half that is for guests, shows you the half that is for the kids to play and have fun. And it really, but I feel like it feels very balanced. It feels very united in the sense of its design and its intentionality. And I really, again, just love the colors of this space, how we brought it to life. And again, let's go back to the before real quick. So as you can see, it's just like a hodgepodge of toys everywhere, fun everywhere, books everywhere, puzzles. It is a playroom. And obviously playrooms are going to get messy. No one's saying that. Like, we get so much hate on our Instagram posts because people are just like, playrooms aren't going to stay perfect. We know that, okay? We know it's not going to stay perfect. But the idea is to be able to put things away in an organized manner whenever you need to do that. Whenever it's time to reset and time to refresh this space, let's put things away and make it look new again. You know, it's gonna, I mean, our house gets insane when all of our kids are here. They're older, but it still gets insane. But the idea is that you can put things back and you feel better. It's like a quick tidy up. Instead, this client was spending hours trying to make this space better because she didn't have an actual home for anything. She really just was shoving and hoping for the best. And again, that's no hate on her. She didn't have the time to come up with the solutions. So we did. And again, I feel like we knocked it out of the park, okay? So this is my rendering of this space. I felt like this was a perfect direction to go in for this room. So let's show you the afters of the room. I love this playroom because it's so bright, it's so fun, and it's lovely. It's not a word I can use a lot of the time, but it is such a lovely room. It made me really happy that we could make this work for two different purposes, but make the room feel so good and together. This is what I want to show you. Let's go back to the before because I'm a crazy person. Before, and then let me show you this after. So as you can see, you can see more of the Billy bookcase in here. So we have a line of these Billies. We have the storage cubby over here. We have the hangout section over there, and you can kind of see the vibe of the couch that I was talking about. It feels so clean and so tidy to me, and it makes me very, very happy. I love the playroom. It's our favorite spaces. Like, I really want to zoom in to the Billy bookcases because I didn't really get to show you those that much in the rendering. But as you can see, we have 3 Billies with the doors, and we have the 2 long book ledges. But again, remember, those are 3 separate ones that we made into a line. So it really worked out for us. But we put all the books up there, and it's okay to use the top of something for storage. So since it is a playroom, it's okay to put some of their favorite toys out on top of these bookcases. They can grab that down, they can have fun with it, and they can put it back. It almost like styles the space, but also is super functional. Okay, so here's the inside of the Billy bookcases. We used white lidded bins in here. That way everything, again, we're trying to take down on visual clutter. And whenever you have something kind of lidded and opaque, but labeled, very important to be labeled, it really cuts down on how much is just grabbed and thrown out, because kids can read. Like, obviously, if your child can read, they can see, okay, I want my Barbies right now. Cool, I'm going to pull out this bin. And it really helps to set it up where you can rotate toys as well. If it's lidded, you can put it in your attic or in another closet if you don't want all the toys out all the time. But just to be able to have like a lidded bin that has a nice label on it, and that way you can always tell what you have. Whether you have like cars, animals, figures, whatever it is, you're able to put it away and it makes sense. It has a home. So if they are tossing out all their Barbie stuff on the floor, at the end of the day, you go get their Barbie bin, and that's where all the stuff goes. So it really makes sense for the space. Then I want to move on to the cube system. This is why I love these, is because you can see we used baskets at the bottom that fit this very well. It's a 13 by 13 cubby. The lower half of this shelf could stay kind of like not visually stimulating, you know, it's not visually chaotic. You're able to have things in the baskets, but you know it's organized, you know it has a label, so you know what lives in there. I will say a good rule of thumb with baskets is don't put little bits in there. A basket this size is going to be for like Barbies, or it's going to be for dolls. It's going to be for doll clothes, maybe for balls, but you don't want little bits in here, because you're never going to be able to find anything again. You're going to have to dump out the whole basket. If you have like Barbie shoes in there, you're never going to see it again. So we always like to say, like, keep the bigger things and the bigger items. But as you can see up top, we used clear bins for the little things. So, you know, fidgets, that's a perfect thing to go into a clear bin like this. And just like the other shelf, we kind of styled the top with toys to make it cute, but also make it functional. We're never afraid to have a cute moment. I feel like that's something that people hate on a lot, is that I feel like people think you have to really choose between something being hyper functional and something really pretty, but it can be both. Like, let me say that. It can be both. So what I love, first of all, I love these lamps so much. I'm pretty sure we got them at like Ross. Love them. But this is such a nice little setup. Again, it divides this cube system perfectly because you can see the top level, and then the bottom level is closed off behind those baskets. And like you can see that we have some floor baskets. Floor baskets are perfect for like stuffed animals. A nice tip for y'all is that some hampers that are cute are also a great substitution for that if you can't find like a nice and expensive floor basket. And then I wanted to show you the other side that I didn't get to show you before in the rendering, and that is the dress up area. I actually found this rack. I'm kind of crazy. Whenever we get hired for a job, I am just like all in. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. We're going to find everything perfect for this space. It was so hard for me to find a clothing rack online that I actually liked. And so I've got on Facebook Marketplace and I found this clothes rack for 15 bucks. I think it used to be for sale at Target or something a long time ago, but it was in like perfect shape on Facebook Marketplace. And I thought it went so well with this vibe. It was like cream hardware and then a wood topper and a wood bottom. And I was like, yep, that's it. So I got this little cute clothing rack for them. We got little kid hangers to hang up their costumes. And it was kind of just like a perfect little area. They have the full length mirror I got. And then, yeah, just like, it was just like kind of like a fun little catch-all area that made sense for them. I love having the little stroller because they get to like dress up and then go play with their baby. But really just being able to set up this little spot for them, because costumes can also get everywhere, dress up stuff. They can just become so much that it's so hard to kind of figure out, okay, where does this need to be? So if you have room to hang dress up stuff, do it. It will be worth it, I promise. Okay, as you can see, I wanted to show you this like nook area. So we left the top drawers. I'm pretty sure we left those empty for potential guests. But the bottom part of this is a little random, but the mom really needed a spot to put gift bags. And so we gave her an organized system for that. So this is very simple. Again, I know it's not toy, it's not playroom, it's not toy, it's not guest stuff, but she really needed a spot to be able to grab things quickly. And she always said she did all of that upstairs. So this was kind of like a perfect little area for that. So we gave her like a simple little gift wrap section here, some party supplies, stuff like that. She had a very small collection of these things, so it really worked in here. But if it was any bigger, if she had any more stuff than this, I would have advised her to like put it somewhere else in her home. But she just had a little bit, and so we put it in these cabinets, and I love these multi-purpose bins. And then this other nook we put more books on. Again, I love the natural light coming in. We added a faux plant, but this is kind of where we put their like boxed series of books here, because their older daughter was really into reading and liked reading series. So we put that over there. That way she can find her books, but her little sister couldn't get to it. So it's kind of lovely to be able to have that. And it kind of felt like her own little space. And in these cabinets below here, since it's right next to the dress up, we put little bins down there for her dress up accessories. So down here, I don't have a picture. Sometimes we're really bad at remembering to take certain pictures. But down there is a bin for necklaces, a bin for hair accessories, and I think dress up makeup, like, you know, pretend stuff is down there. You can see that there's like this little nook next to the couch where that wall kind of juts out a little bit. I put these clear ledges for puzzles there. I loved this. I felt like it was perfect for these wooden book ledges, and then you have this wall of puzzles next to your end table. It felt so cohesive, and mwah, I loved it. So these ledges are perfect for puzzles, and I liked it too because it was like a little jut out in the wall. I wasn't worried about anyone on the couch hitting this because it would be really hard for them to. But again, you can kind of see the up close of this side table where they can set drinks or whatever it is. But again, we used this because they had so many books. We also put some books on the side table just to kind of style it, but also make it super functional. Finally, you can kind of see, I have a couple of pictures. I don't think I have anything spot on of the door, but you can see we installed these blinds on the door to give the guests privacy for when they do stay there. That way, if they needed to change, they don't have to go to the bathroom every time. They could come in here, and the door also had a lock on it as well. What else is really cool is, like, even though this is a dress-up mirror for the kids, a guest could also use it if they're getting ready in this room. So it's kind of like a double functionality moment that really came together. But yeah, y'all, this is the space. Let's look at the before. Again, stuff everywhere, chaotic, boo. But then we got the afters. I feel like this space makes me so happy. I was super proud. I was super proud of this as well as their downstairs area I showed you in the last video. But I just love how this space turned out. They were floored with it. They went on vacation and came back to this, and it just made me so, so happy. But anyway, I'm so glad you guys are here for this. I will drop all the links in the description again. And stay tuned for our next video, and maybe comment what you want to see next, because I'm not sure what I want to show you. So we will talk to you soon. Wait, don't leave. Look what I got. I got my copy of our book, Tidying Up. Look how perfect this size is. Like, truly. Perfect size, perfect gift, $20. 100 ways to infuse order and joy into your home and life. And I love this book. I love how pretty it is, and it's perfect. You can pre-order it right now, and it'll ship to you in December. Tell freaking everyone about this. I'll put that in the description as well, and we would love to see you purchase it. All right, bye. Until next time.